If you use the same password for Netflix as you do for your bank, a single data breach could wipe out your savings overnight. Your brain physically can't memorize 50 different complex randomized passwords, and that limitation is exactly what hackers count on. So today I'll show you why your current password probably isn't protecting you, the manual setup cybersecurity experts actually use, and the free tool that permanently eliminates the need to remember passwords ever again. Cryptographic entropy and brute force attacks sound like computer science homework, but both concepts are simpler than they sound. Brute force attacks use a software that systematically tries every possible password combination until it hits the right one. Cryptographic entropy is just a measure of how unpredictable your password is. The higher the entropy, the longer it takes to crack. And here's why that matters in practice. A hacker with a modern graphics card can brute force an 8-character password, and yes, even with a capital letter and a symbol, in about 5 minutes. But a 15-character password made of random words takes millions of years. To put that in perspective, think of your 8-character basic password as a wooden fence. The hacker's software is a bulldozer, and it drives straight through that fence in one hit. A 15-character random password is a 100-foot solid titanium wall. That same bulldozer will run out of gas for centuries before it even makes a dent. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to build that titanium wall manually and with a free tool. Over 16.8 billion records were exposed in publicly reported data breaches in the last year alone. And there's a chance that you're among them. So let's look at how hackers get access and what they do with your data once it's in their hands. And again, it starts with brute force attacks. A brute force attack is trial and error at massive scale, software cycling through every possible combination until one works. An 8-character password with mixed cases and symbols falls in hours, sometimes minutes on modern hardware. A 6-digit phone PIN takes nanoseconds. Online, that bulldozer we talked about hits a wall pretty fast. And that's because most websites will lock you out after about 10 failed attempts. Banks require 2-factor authentication, your phone disables itself after a handful of wrong guesses. Against a live login screen, a brute force attack runs out of road almost immediately. The real threat happens offline, so hackers don't attack the login screen, they go around it entirely. When a company like LinkedIn, Equifax, or Ticketmaster gets breached, the attackers don't steal your password directly, they steal the entire encrypted database. And once that database is on a hacker's own computer, there are no rate limits. The lockouts disappear, and the bulldozer runs uninterrupted at 1 billion guesses per second against your credentials until something works. And this is how most account compromises actually happen, not at a login screen, but offline against stolen data where the attacker has unlimited time and computing power to work with. Want to see if this has already happened to you? Well, go to haveibeenpwned.com and enter your email. That's PWNED. If you're like most people, you'll find your credentials have been exposed in at least one major breach, probably several. And if you reused that password anywhere else, well, every one of those accounts is now at risk. But there's one more attack that bypasses password strength entirely. If a hacker can trick you into typing your password into a fake website, it doesn't matter how long or complex it is. And this happens to more people than you might think. You get an email that looks like it's from your bank. It has the right logo, formatting, and the right sender name. So you click the link and even the page looks identical to the real one you're used to logging in through. The URL might be off by a single character, but you're not gonna notice that because most people don't even check. So you enter your password and the attacker now has it regardless of how strong it was. A password manager would have flagged the mismatched URL instantly, but a human eye doesn't always catch it. This is what's known as phishing, and according to IBM, it's the #1 most common initial attack vector and responsible for around 15% of all breaches worldwide. Unfortunately, a stronger password doesn't protect you here. What does is a system that recognizes the real site from the fake one and refuses to autofill on the wrong URL. And that's exactly what the rest of this video covers. Okay, so here's the manual system that cybersecurity experts actually use, no software required. Rule number 1 is 6 random words. The strongest password you can realistically type isn't a random string of symbols, it's 6 unrelated words strung together. Something like horse, velvet, pizza, thunder, desk, apple. That's around 32 characters, easy to read, easy to type, and mathematically out of reach for any brute force hardware. You can separate the words with dashes, spaces, or a symbol, and the length is what does the work. Rule number 2, the 3 buckets. The average person has over 100 online accounts, and memorizing unique passphrases for every one of them isn't realistic, so instead you organize by risk level and apply proportional security to each tier. Bucket A is convenience, subscriptions and entertainment, anywhere that doesn't have your payment details. Think limited financial exposure, no identity risk. A shared passphrase across this bucket is an acceptable trade-off. Bucket B is transactions, anywhere your payment details are stored. Think Amazon, eBay, travel booking sites. Higher stakes than bucket A, so this bucket gets its own unique passphrase separate from everything else. And then bucket C is identity. Email, banking, government portals, anything that can assume your identity or hand an attacker a password reset link to your other accounts. Each account in this bucket gets its own individual passphrase. No sharing, no exceptions. These are the passwords you memorize and never store anywhere. And the structure is called compartmentalization. A breach in bucket A gives an attacker nothing that they can use to climb into bucket B. And the tiers don't connect. If your Netflix password leaks, your bank is still safe because it lives in a completely separate bucket with a completely different passphrase. The honest limitation of this system is that it works well for your top 10 most critical accounts, but most people have far more than 10 accounts that need unique passwords. And that's where a password manager takes over, and it's exactly what we're covering next. A password manager resolves most of the problems that we've uncovered so far. The software generates a unique 25-character random password for every single site, stores it in an encrypted vault, and fills it automatically at login. It also only autofills on the exact registered domain, so a fake phishing website gets nothing. You memorize one master password and everything else is handled. Now, there are plenty of password managers available, but RoboForm stands out for two main reasons. It has one of the most capable free plans on the market, and its premium tier is the most affordable of any major provider. The free plan includes unlimited password storage, autofill, a strong password generator, AES 256-bit encryption, zero-knowledge architecture, two-factor authentication, and passkey support. It is limited to one device, but if you're working from a single laptop or phone, then that's everything you really need at no cost to you. At the time of filming this video, RoboForm Premium runs around 99 cents a month billed annually, which is a pretty good deal if you ask me. That's a fraction of what other password managers like 1Password or Dashlane charge, and for that price, RoboForm adds unlimited device syncing, cloud backup, emergency access, secure password sharing, and breach monitoring for up to 5 email addresses. RoboForm has been independently audited and has been in operation for over 2 decades, longer than most of its competitors. Its zero-knowledge architecture means that RoboForm itself has no access to your vault. Only your master password can decrypt it. New accounts also get a 30-day free premium trial with no credit card required, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee if you decide it's not for you. So if you want to see RoboForm's autofill in action, then I've actually done a quick 1-minute breakdown in another video that I'll link to down below. Okay, so RoboForm does exactly what the bucket method can't, and this connects directly back to the phishing attack that we covered earlier. When it autofills your credentials, it checks the URL against your saved login, and if they don't match, it fills nothing in, so a convincing phishing page gets no credentials at all. And unlike manually checking "Have I been pwned?", RoboForm's breach monitoring watches your email addresses automatically and alerts you the moment your credentials appear in a new leak. Now, the obvious question at this point is, if everything lives behind one master password, then isn't that a single point of failure? Fair point, and it would be, except RoboForm encrypts your vault locally on your device before it ever reaches their server. So even if RoboForm itself were to be breached, attackers would get an encrypted file that's completely useless without your master password. The vault is only as vulnerable as that one password, which is why it should be the strongest, most unique passphrase you have ever created. Length beats complexity, but uniqueness beats both. If you want to go manual, the bucket method with 6-word passphrases will cover your most critical accounts. Use it for your bank, your email, and anything tied to your identity. But if you want full coverage and protection against the phishing attacks your brain would otherwise fall for, then use a good password manager. Again, RoboForm is free for single device use and the most affordable premium option on the market if you need multi-device sync. So go check yourself on Have I Been Pwned right now. Whatever you find there, it's a good starting point. But either way, stop reusing your passwords today. Also, one quick warning for you, there are fake password manager apps in the App Store right now built to steal your data rather than protect it. So to make sure that you're downloading the real verified version of RoboForm, be sure to use the direct link down in the description. It's the official safe download. And if you want to sync across your phone, laptop, tablet, all your devices, then I've also linked to RoboForm's biggest current discount on the premium plan down below as well. We keep that updated with the best available offer, and using that also helps support this channel at no extra cost to you, which we really appreciate. But drop a comment and let us know what system you're currently using, manual buckets or full automation, and we'll see you in the next video.